You can feel the anger even now, decades later. Nigeria, 1993. Streets full of shouting people, tires burning, frustration everywhere. Something vital was taken from the people, and nobody could stop it or explain why. Just days before, Nigerians had voted with hope and pride. Students, market women, old men, everyone felt the moment mattered. And then the result was annulled. Like it never happened. Like their voices didn't count. One announcement changed everything. No explanation that made sense. The country erupted in confusion. People asked, who did this, and why now? But answers were nowhere to be found, just fear and uncertainty spreading fast. And in that chaos, one man remained silent. Watching. Listening. Waiting. He didn't need to shout. He didn't need headlines. Abacha understood power differently. Quiet patience, careful timing, that was his weapon. You've seen him. Dark sunglasses hiding eyes you can't read. Stone face. Heavy steps. No charm, no smile, no words wasted. General Sani Abacha didn't rely on friendliness. He commanded attention simply by existing. Those glasses weren't decoration. They were armor. You couldn't read a thing behind them. Mood, intention, weakness, it was all hidden. In Nigeria's military politics, that kind of mystery is dangerous and extremely useful. Inside the army, he was feared and respected. Disciplined. Cold. Dependable. The kind of man who could be trusted with the dirty work and who would make you think twice before crossing him. Nigeria had already survived coup after coup. Tanks rolling at night, radio announcements by dawn. And in every single one of those pictures, there he was. Not leading. Not leaving. Always present. Different rulers came and went. Different promises, speeches, faces. But Abacha stayed close to power every time. Standing behind the throne. Observing. Learning. And quietly preparing for the day it would be his. Some officers called him loyal. Others whispered more sinister things. But one title kept surfacing quietly, almost grudgingly, Kingmaker. The man who made others rise while keeping himself safe, unseen, unblamed. Nigeria wasn't choosing leaders anymore. It was enduring them. Elections, laws, constitutions, they didn't matter. Power was seized, negotiated in whispers, enforced by guns. And Abacha understood that system far better than most. For years, he helped other men take power. Protected them. Removed threats. Positioned himself strategically. Here's the question, why do all that work, all the danger, and never claim the crown yourself? Because eventually, he did. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't reckless. It was a culmination of decades of patience, calculation, and understanding exactly how Nigeria's chaos could be turned into his throne. To see how he got there, we have to rewind. Before the decrees. Before the fear. Before the throne. Back to the soldier. The one who watched quietly, learned, and never wasted a single opportunity. Sani Abacha was born in Kano, northern Nigeria. A city of markets, discipline, and structure. Growing up there taught him order, patience, and respect for hierarchy. That environment shaped him into a man who understood power early. His childhood stories weren't dramatic. No rebellion, no adventures. Just quiet ambition. He didn't need to prove himself to anyone yet. That silence, that observation, would later become his most dangerous skill. He chose the army early. Not politics, not business. The military gave him the fastest route to influence. He understood that elections moved slowly, but soldiers could shift the country overnight if they were organized. Abacha trained at home and abroad. Weapons. Strategy. Leadership. But the key lesson wasn't combat. It was understanding systems, how orders flow, how people obey, and, most importantly, how rules bend when necessary. He wasn't loud or charismatic. He watched. Who survived fights? Who got blamed? Who vanished quietly? Those patterns taught him everything about fear, loyalty, and influence, lessons he would use for decades. By the early 1980s, Nigeria's civilian government was teetering. Debt, corruption, frustration. People were angry, and the military always noticed when anger stacked up. That's where Abacha's opportunity quietly waited. December 31, 1983. Soldiers moved at night. Radio stations changed their voices. By morning, President Shagari was gone. Democracy had been interrupted, and the country barely reacted before the new rulers claimed authority. Muhammadu Buhari became head of state. Strict. Disciplined. Serious. And Abacha? He was there, executing orders flawlessly. Not the face, not the political strategist. Just reliable, trusted, and perfectly positioned. He didn't need recognition. Being effective mattered more than praise. Abacha executed plans without questions. He became indispensable in a system where loyalty was survival and failure meant disappearance. By 1985, military politics had shifted again. Buhari's government faced internal tension. Coups were brewing. And Abacha? He adjusted without hesitation, watching carefully, learning the subtle moves of survival and influence. August 1985. Another coup. Another announcement on the radio. New leadership. Same pattern, tanks, whispers, and swift change. For most Nigerians, it was shocking. For Abacha, it was practice in patience and timing. Ibrahim Babangida became head of state. Charismatic. Calculated. Political. Abacha stayed close. He observed, learned, and measured everything. How leaders rise, how rivals fall. It was schooling in power, silent but rigorous. From Babangida, Abacha learned subtlety. How to wield power without fingerprints. How to maneuver behind the scenes while appearing loyal. How to survive in chaos without being noticed, or accused. Promotion followed. Influence expanded. He didn't rush. He positioned himself. Every move was measured, deliberate. He became the trusted right hand, the quiet shadow that no one could ignore but everyone underestimated. By 1993, the political temperature boiled again. The June 12 election erupted into crisis. Babangida stepped aside, leaving an interim national government. Civilians claimed authority, but the military remained the spine holding it all together. Ernest Shonkan led the interim national government. A civilian face. But the real power rested with the soldiers behind him. And Abacha? He was in command of the most critical part, security and the army. As Secretary of Defense, he had it all, guns, loyalty, and strategy. Titles mean little. Control of soldiers meant control of outcomes. And Abacha understood that completely. Think about it this way, if you control the guns, you control the ending. Abacha didn't just understand that. He planned for it. Every piece, every officer, every decision put him closer. November 17, 1993. No explosions. No prolonged chaos. The interim government was dissolved swiftly. Abacha had learned to act decisively, without theatrics, ensuring no chance for opposition to organize. This time, he didn't fade into the background. He stepped forward. Years of observing, calculating, and surviving positioned him perfectly for the role everyone feared. Nigeria's most experienced coupist finally went solo. Decades of preparation, patience, and cold calculation had brought him here. The kingmaker was now the king. And the country would never forget it. The moment Abacha took power, everything changed. Laws became suggestions. Debate disappeared. Fear didn't. Nigeria learned quickly that survival now depended on obedience, silence, and knowing when to nod. Resistance could vanish overnight. He ruled by decree. Not discussion. Not compromise. Just one person's decision, final and absolute. People obeyed, not because they agreed, but because refusing meant consequences they couldn't survive. Power flowed upward, stopping with him. No checks. No balances. No room for negotiation. One man controlled everything, from the army to civil servants to whispers in hallways. Everything funneled through him. Then came the strike force. Plainclothed soldiers, sudden arrests, night raids. People disappeared without explanation. Fear wasn't subtle. It was physical, a reminder that questioning authority could cost you everything. Journalists vanished. Activists were taken in the night. Families waited, terrified. Phones went silent. The city itself seemed to shrink, as if everyone was holding their breath, listening for the next knock. Nigeria learned a new survival skill, whispering. Speak less. Trust nobody. Eyes everywhere, ears everywhere. Even silence became dangerous if you weren't careful about what you were thinking. But some refused to shut up. And that mattered. A voice can't be entirely silenced, even under the harshest regimes. Courage persisted, even in the shadows of fear. Gani Fahimi spoke anyway, in courtrooms, on streets, and sometimes over radio. He challenged the regime. Every word cost him, arrests, harassment, intimidation, but he continued. That persistence became a symbol. Arrest. Release. Arrest again. That cycle defined him. Each moment a test, a reminder of who ruled. Still, he kept speaking. That stubbornness unnerved the regime more than any weapon could. Wole Soyinka chose exile, but he didn't choose silence. His books, essays, and speeches traveled back home, inspiring citizens quietly, keeping the spirit of dissent alive while his body remained distant. Books became dangerous objects. Ideas became threats. The regime feared words more than guns. Knowledge, thought, or organized criticism were punishable. The lesson was clear: obedience or consequences. This tells you what the state truly protected: power itself. Not order, not law, not citizens' well-being, just authority. Absolute control over every voice, movement, and thought that might threaten it. Then the Niger Delta came into focus. Oil-rich lands, polluted rivers, decimated communities. People wanted justice, clean water, and fair compensation. The state saw rebellion instead of rights. Ken Saro-Wiwa spoke calmly, clearly, and persistently. Peaceful protests. Letters. Petitions. He demanded recognition for the Ogoni people, but the government didn't listen. They wanted silence, not solutions. He was arrested. Tried by a military tribunal that looked fair only on paper. Everyone suspected the outcome was already decided. Justice was not a factor, control was. The world begged. Letters. Protests. International pressure. Appeals from presidents, NGOs, and journalists. Still, the regime remained indifferent, unmoved by moral arguments, focused only on preserving authority. November 10, 1995. Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 others were executed. Quick. Unyielding. Brutal. The message was clear: dissent would not be tolerated, regardless of legitimacy or international scrutiny. Nigeria was suspended from the Commonwealth. Diplomatic isolation was official. Embarrassment. Shame. Economic consequences. Still, Abacha doubled down. No apology. No retreat. Absolute power was more important than global opinion. Abacha didn't bend. Not even slightly. He hardened. Every action, every decree, reinforced his image: untouchable, decisive, unrepentant. Fear was the tool that maintained order in his world. MKO Abiola remained the symbol of unfinished democracy. He survived physically, but his presence was a constant threat to the regime. The June 12 mandate lingered in public consciousness. When Abiola declared himself president, the regime responded instantly. Swift arrests. Isolation. A reminder that power under Abacha tolerated no challenge, not even from revered figures. Abiola's house became a prison. Solitary. Confined. cut off. Survival, not leadership, was now the focus. Even hope was dangerous when it opposed the ruler's will. No negotiations. No compromise. June 12 stayed buried. The elections and voices of millions remained suppressed, evidence of what happens when ambition outweighs democracy entirely. This was the iron fist. Unapologetic. Absolute. Fear and obedience were the currency. Everything else, law, ethics, history, was secondary. Every action reinforced a single truth: the ruler is untouchable. Nigeria had learned harsh lessons. Power wasn't shared, debated, or negotiated. It was taken, maintained, and enforced through fear, loyalty, and the silent, calculating presence of one man behind the throne. Here's the thing: despite terror, disappearances, and fear, the economy didn't collapse under Abacha. People were surprised. The naira stayed relatively stable. Foreign debts were managed. Oil revenue continued flowing, quietly, without fanfare or collapse. Nigeria was isolated politically, but financially, it held. Trade still existed. Oil sales continued. Banks operated. Investments didn't vanish completely. Abacha's regime had a strange paradox: ruthless inside, careful with money outside. Control was tight. On paper, Nigeria looked orderly. Budget reports, debt repayments, and oil production numbers were published. Citizens saw stability, but it came at a hidden cost, one the public couldn't measure immediately. And then came the Petroleum Trust Fund, or PTF. Money from fuel subsidies and oil profits was redirected toward infrastructure. Roads were built, hospitals repaired, and some public projects became visible in everyday life. The PTF was run by Buhari at the time, with visible results. Roads, schools, clinics. For ordinary Nigerians, it looked like government action was finally working. A glimmer of something positive amidst fear. For many, the PTF gave hope. Roads repaired, clinics built, jobs created. It was tangible. People could see and touch improvements. And yet, behind the scenes, another story was unfolding quietly. The other story was darker. Billions of naira were diverted. Shell companies, foreign accounts, Swiss banks. Wealth siphoned quietly while citizens saw only the occasional project, never the scale of corruption behind it. Think about it this way: Nigeria had two economies. One public, visible, and relatively functional. Another secret, hidden, moving billions offshore. One stabilized by fear. The other feeding the ruler and his inner circle. The Abacha loot wasn't accidental. It was systematic. Calculated. Years of planning had prepared the infrastructure for moving wealth quietly and safely out of the country, leaving only breadcrumbs for investigators later. And yet, paradoxically, the average Nigerian still saw some improvement. Roads, schools, hospitals, even bridges in some states. It created a confusing legacy: fear and theft alongside public works and stability. It's hard to reconcile. Stability came with fear, and growth came with theft. The paradox is that even under terror, life continued. Business continued. Oil revenue flowed. Citizens survived, even thrived in small ways. Meanwhile, money continued to move offshore. Millions, then billions, vanished quietly. Switzerland, UK, Liechtenstein. The system was invisible, legal on paper, but morally corrupt. Abacha ensured the money was out of reach before anyone questioned it. The lesson here is stark. Stability without accountability is fragile. Citizens might survive, even prosper superficially, but the cost is often hidden, delayed, and catastrophic for generations to come. By the late 90s, Nigeria faced a strange truth. A country appearing stable, modernizing in parts, but secretly bleeding wealth. Abacha's economic paradox: fear maintained order, while theft enriched the few. Ordinary Nigerians were left with scraps. By the late 1990s, Nigeria stood alone. Western nations cut ties. Embassies closed doors. Sanctions hit trade. Ordinary Nigerians felt it first: visas denied, investments frozen, opportunities lost. Isolation became an everyday reality. Abacha didn't flinch. No apologies. No concessions. Instead, he tightened control even further. Security became omnipresent. Fear reinforced compliance. Citizens understood clearly: defiance could vanish you overnight, and no foreign pressure would protect you. Then came the promise of a transition. 5 political parties were registered. People hoped. Maybe the regime would allow elections, voices, and choice. That brief hope flickered like candlelight in a storm. But the hope was false. It was a performance. All 5 registered parties ended up endorsing the same candidate. There was no competition. No choice. Democracy existed in name only. The 5 fingers became a symbol. Not power, not unity, but fear and control, all 5 supporting the same man. Citizens knew the system was rigged from the start. The parties weren't independent. They were puppets. Loyalty was forced. Dissent inside the political system meant marginalization, harassment, or disappearance. Obedience replaced genuine support. People called them the 5 leprous fingers of a leprous hand. Strong words. Accurate. Democracy wasn't allowed to grow. Opposition wasn't permitted. Citizens felt the choking grip of one man's power everywhere. The illusion of politics created paradoxical compliance. People voted, campaigned, or showed support outwardly, but privately, they whispered and feared. Survival depended on pretending the system was legitimate. Even within the palace, trust disappeared. Officers whispered about coups, plots, betrayals. Fear made loyalty conditional. Every ally was a potential threat, every supporter a cautious observer. The most famous alleged plot was the Dia coup. His own deputy accused, arrested, and sentenced to die. It sent a clear signal: nobody, not even the closest, was safe from suspicion. Many believed it was staged. A warning disguised as a coup. A way to purge potential threats without shaking public confidence. Abacha's paranoia became operational, and fear spread like wildfire. Coup rumors weren't occasional whispers, they became constant background noise. People looked at each other sideways. Military meetings felt dangerous. Even close friends couldn't be fully trusted. Abacha's isolation extended beyond Nigeria. Western nations shunned him. Internally, paranoia ruled. He controlled information, intelligence, and security tightly. Everyone and everything was under scrutiny. Support, inside and outside the country, became fear-based. No one wanted to be associated with disobedience. Political loyalty was survival, not conviction. Any misstep could be catastrophic. Despite the fear, he maintained an image of inevitability. Control looked seamless. The regime seemed untouchable, like nothing could shake it. But beneath the surface, cracks of tension, rumors, and dissent existed. Coup plots, real or imagined, were a constant threat. Some were genuine. Some were inventions. But in Abacha's world, perception of danger was enough to justify any action. By now, trust was almost gone entirely. Allies feared each other. Citizens feared leaders. The country moved cautiously, under the shadow of one man's absolute control. And yet, even in that fear, Nigerians persisted quietly. Survival strategies emerged: whispers, compliance, patience. The regime had power, but it could not crush the human spirit entirely. June 8, 1998. Abuja morning. Quiet streets. People unaware that history was about to change. Inside the palace, routines unfolded. Guards patrolled. Plans continued. And then, suddenly, the country lost the man who had ruled absolutely. The news spread quickly: Abacha was dead. Shock, disbelief, and cautious relief rippled across the nation. Nobody expected it. Rumors flew faster than facts. Fear and hope collided in a tense, uncertain moment. Official reports claimed a sudden heart attack. Nothing more. Doctors confirmed it. Yet whispers suggested something else: poison, betrayal, even assassination. The truth would remain mysterious, debated, and uncertain for decades to come. Nigeria exhaled, carefully. Citizens peeked out of fear and hope, wondering if life could continue differently now. People dared to imagine freedom again, even if only for a fragile, brief moment. Sani Abubakar became the new head of state. Calm, deliberate, cautious. He inherited the machinery of fear, the military, and the responsibility of transitioning Nigeria towards civilian rule. Political prisoners were released. Voices silenced for years finally spoke again. The country felt cautious optimism. The shadow of Abacha still lingered, but the first cracks in his iron grip appeared. MKO Abiola, still a symbol of the June 12 mandate, remained imprisoned. Freedom came for many, but not for him. His continued detention was a reminder that the past wasn't over, yet. He died 1 month later, under house arrest. Citizens mourned quietly. A martyr of a stolen mandate. His death marked the cost of decades under authoritarian rule. Nigeria mourned collectively, privately, and quietly. Streets filled with whispers. People remembered June 12, Sarawiwa, Abiola, and all who had suffered. Pain mixed with cautious hope, the nation trying to breathe again. In 1999, civilian rule returned. Elections were held. Citizens voted without fear of tanks rolling through the streets. For many, it was the long-awaited chance to reclaim their country. Then came the vaults. The Abacha loot. Billions siphoned from Nigeria, stored in Swiss accounts and abroad. A staggering sum, hidden for decades, a reminder of corruption on a scale almost unimaginable. Recovery was slow. Complex. Political, legal, and financial hurdles slowed the return of stolen funds. Only a fraction ever came back to Nigeria, leaving citizens frustrated and distrustful of institutions. The Abacha legacy is complicated. Some infrastructure remained. Roads, hospitals, bridges. But they existed alongside stolen billions, crushed dissent, and terror that shaped a generation of Nigerians. Power under Abacha wasn't shared. It was absolute, brutal, and meticulous. Fear enforced obedience. Corruption enriched the few. Ordinary citizens survived, endured, and adapted in ways that still influence Nigeria today. Stability was achieved, but at enormous cost. Lives lost. Democracy suspended. Freedoms denied. The paradox of his rule, efficiency and terror existing side by side, leaving a nation scarred but functioning. The lesson is stark. Absolute power can deliver order, sometimes even visible results, but it always comes at a cost. Fear and theft are rarely separated from stability imposed from the top. Even today, Nigerians remember him cautiously. Some recall roads or hospitals. Most recall fear, lost loved ones, and the silence enforced by an iron fist. Memory is complex, tangled, and unresolved. Billions were never recovered. Many perpetrators unpunished. The nation still wrestles with the consequences. Corruption, distrust, and caution are part of the fabric of modern Nigeria because of what happened under Abacha. Yet, Abacha's death cleared the path for change. Civilian rule, elections, and a return to some accountability followed. His absence made room for hope, even if the scars would remain for decades. Nigeria's story after him is built on lessons learned painfully. Democracy returned, cautiously. Institutions strengthened slowly. Citizens remembered, whispered, and ensured that history's mistakes wouldn't be ignored entirely. Abacha's reign ended, but the country never forgot. Fear, theft, and control shaped a generation. Roads, hospitals, and bridges tell one story: the billions lost, lives destroyed, and silence enforced tell another. History keeps both.
If this story mattered, don't let it disappear. Like the video, subscribe, and help us preserve history. This is Griot Archive.